Hello, everyone. Hello, viewers. Hello, artists. Welcome to another stream of Art Lounge Alley. This is Figure Drawing Basics, part 63. I am your host, and I will be jumping into today's sesh right after I introduce newcomers to the Patreon page. I'm going to try to do it quickly, as always, not to spend way too much time. So this is it right here. Tier 1 starts off with Tier 1 official patron for $2 per month. Pretty affordable way to show your support for the Art Lounge Alley. You will get access to the Discord server, a channel that brings everybody together. It's a chat group. It's a place for you guys to connect with one another. It's a community. It's where you guys can share your thoughts, share your ideas, connect with one another, have a place to go to on a daily basis, and keep each other company, share interesting stuff, talk about anything under the sun. You will also get your patron name listed in the credits as a thank you for being a supporter, for keeping Art Lounge Alley going. I will be doing credits at the end of the stream once you guys start pledging, and you will see that at the end of the stream. And then we got Tier 2 all access patrons, $5 per month, and in this tier you guys get access to all of my work. So things like finished pages, exclusive content. You'll get early access to them prior to anybody else being able to see it. Any other social media platform, I'm going to be posting it first for you guys to check out. And then there's also going to be exclusive content. So things that no other social media platform is going to see aside from you patrons. You also get work in progress and behind scenes in the future. Things like speed painting videos are going to be available as well for you guys to check out. Get access to the Discord server and have your name listed in the credits at the end of the stream. Then we got Tier 3, critique submission tier, $15 per month. This is an opportunity for you guys to be part of the stream, part of the Art Lounge Alley stream. For $15 per month, you guys have an opportunity to submit work and have it critiqued live on stream. So I'm going to be doing a live demonstration. It's going to be digital. I'm going to be showing you hands-on where you could improve in your drawing, what you could do to make things look better, help you improve your skill, improve the drawing that you submit. There are a couple of things to keep in mind. I suggest you guys check out the Patreon page. It's in the About section of the Twitch channel. And you'll see it all the way on the right hand side along with other social media platform links. It gives you an opportunity to read through at your own pace, at your own time, and ask me any questions that you got. In the future, you could post them in chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Speaking of which, I am going to bring up chat just so I don't miss any comments from you guys. All right, so continuing on, we got, we got Tier 4 Kickstarter patron, $25 per month. This is an opportunity for you guys to have your portrait drawn on stream, live on stream. It's going to be held every Thursday from 8 until 10, so 2 hours straight. The critique, the Tier 3 critique submission is going to be every Friday. It's going to be substituted for what you guys are going to be seeing today, and it's going to be from 8 until 10 as well. So going back to the Kickstarter patron, for $25 per month, you guys get a high resolution digital painting done of you live on stream, and once it's finished, it's going to be sent over to you guys to do as you wish. I encourage you guys to get creative with it, show your individuality, show your creativity, and I'm open to doing cosplay if you guys are into that. Wear masks, makeup, glasses, making expressive faces, wearing hats and accessories. They're all highly encouraged but not required. I think it'll make the stream more fun. It'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting outcome. It's going to be a cool portrait for you guys to hold on to, and fun for the viewers as well. But yeah, it's not required. You could just simply send me a photo from your head down to your chest. Include your favorite color, something that I'm going to be working with for the end result as well. And I will start doing that. And of course, you guys will get all the previous tier benefits. Next, we got tier 5 artist promotion, $25 per month also. And this is meant more for intermediate or advanced artists. So if you want to get some airtime and you want to promote some work on stream, it's not limited to just illustrators. It's open to all forms of art, as you guys see here. Or if you're an artist with interesting content and you'd like to share it, it's a perfect opportunity for you to do it in this tier. You get 5-minute airtime. It does require you to submit a 5-minute video. I think that iMovie is pretty simple. It really takes just a little bit to learn, and you will get a reel of your work for a submission to other places as well. So it's a good investment. It's a really handy tool. It's fun. And if you're an intermediate or advanced artist, I'm sure you're a little familiar with that tool. It doesn't necessarily have to be iMovie. It could be pretty much anything. The important thing is it's a 5-minute video. And it gives you guys an opportunity to shape the video the way you like it to be presented. You know, be as creative as you'd like with it, and show off your work, and include a link to your profile, include a link to your website, whatever it is, and I will promote that on stream as well. It's a way for you guys to connect with one another, expand the community, reach out to more audience, because I will be promoting your work before the stream starts, and of course during the stream as well. So you guys will get more viewers funneled in from all the different social media platforms into your profile for people to check out what else you got cooking. This one has a couple of things listed on there. As I mentioned, you guys can access this Patreon page, read through it. It's some things that I think are necessary in order to avoid those who aren't really that interested and aren't too serious about it. So yeah, take your time, read through it, and ask away any questions. Finally, we got tier 6 private tutoring. It's limited to 15 people, but it's not limited to your skill level. So if you're a beginner, totally new, you are more than welcome to join this tier. For $65 per month, you get hands-on, personalized instruction from me, giving you guys step-by-step instruction, demonstrating on digitally, like I'll show you guys what you could do to improve the work that you do have to submit, something that you're working on. It could be anything, just so I have an idea of where to go. Yeah, you will get 4 videos per month, 1 video per week. That's going to be curtailed to your skill level, to what you're working on, and guide you guys and help you and demonstrate ways that you can get better. And you will also receive a PSD file with that video. So that way you guys can open it up, explore it at your own pace, take a look and see what's going on over there. I'm going to include some homework for you guys to work through for the week until the next video. So that way you could keep drawing, staying motivated, keeping the fire burning, and having some goals until the next video. You'll also get a private Discord channel, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us to stay in touch. And it's going to be private. That way nobody else is going to have access to it. So you can leave me comments, you can leave me questions that you got, any questions or comments. You got an opportunity to send me your progress. So you could just leave it in chat. I could check it out and then talk about it more in the next video. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's some other things on there as well. As I mentioned, you guys can take your time and read through and ask away. So that pretty much does it, y'all. I'm going to jump into today's stream. Now, unfortunately, I will have to postpone the special intro I was talking about until next week. It's just going to give me more time to flesh it out and really give you guys quality stuff as opposed to just trying to rush it through. But you guys did have a pretty good amount of new stuff this week. If you guys missed out, for those of you who are just tuning in for the very first time, for those of you who did miss out some of the episodes, you guys have an opportunity to catch up by going to the video section in a Twitch channel and filtering based on collection. And it's going to show you playlists for each of these streams. So you can have a playlist for figure drawing, playlist for drawing comics, coloring comics, and a project stream for you to catch up and see what's going on. It's a good way to see past streams, even the very first episode, or stream rather, of Art Lounge Alley. So today, there isn't going to be any review, so I'm going to jump right into where I left off yesterday, which is drawing more mouths. Different poses, or positions rather. I guess it would kind of make sense to say different poses of the mouth, right? But really, I think positions makes more sense. So yeah, there isn't really, just reiterating what I was talking about before, there isn't really any standard way of drawing the mouth, because it varies so much, and that's something I was talking about yesterday. Sometimes these two mountains are deeper than usual, or the dip isn't as prominent, or sometimes like these marks right there, the highest points on the lip, are sometimes very defined, or the lip is a lot thinner at the top, or the lip is a lot thinner at the bottom, or sometimes both lips are incredibly thin. And that all that is great reference. You sometimes it's cool to draw some different looking faces. There's sometimes I see artists, and when it comes to like drawing women, they always draw the same looking person with different like different hair, different clothes, but the person looks exactly the same. So it just looks like a cloned person. Now sometimes it's done really well and it's beautiful work, but other times it's I don't know, I feel like it's more fun. I'm not knocking it, I'm not saying they're bad or anything like that. I just think it's more fun, personally, even for me, to draw many different type of faces. Have them come alive and make them make sense in a way, in a drawing. So this is a 3/4 view. As you can see, the lip isn't incredibly thick. It's relatively, I guess it's like average, right? It's like an average width. I don't know. Again, it's so hard to say because there's so many variations. But the best way, where I was getting at with all this, talking about, variation and how there isn't really a standard, the best way is to draw. Find references, photos, and just look around and see, like, what do you like about certain features? And draw that. That could be your standard of beauty. You like the way a lip is shaped like that. Maybe you like the upper lip being really thin. Or, you like thin lips. I don't know. But that's the whole idea, is you just kind of have to explore yourself and see what really appeals to you. Now, some people say that beauty is all about symmetry, but I don't agree. I think that beauty is, in some ways, pretty subjective. And that's a really interesting topic, because some people think that what most would perceive as ugly is beautiful. And sometimes the most beautiful is incredibly ugly. It is absolutely true that, if the person's personality is incredibly rotten, but they're very good looking, it makes them look very unattractive and ugly. You just look at them and they're very unappealing, because you know what kind of a person that they are, and what sort of things that what kind of things they advocate, what kind of things they've done, how they treat others, that stuff. But it's a good question for you guys to explore. What's your opinion on that? I think I won't deny and say symmetry isn't beautiful. I just don't think that it's limited to just symmetry. I think that, of course, that is appealing, and we do turn our head when we see somebody who is symmetrically attractive. So there is no benefit in really denying or lying to yourself about that part, but what's important is to realize that that isn't the only thing that is considered to be beautiful. So that's one of the reasons why it's kind of difficult for me to say, like, okay, well, this is how you draw lips, or this is how you draw nose, or whatever else, because really there's like so many different appearances of it, and to say like, oh, it's only this way, this is the standard, this is what's I don't know, I find that to be kind of limiting. But I do think, as I mentioned before, in other matters, like in other parts of the body, there is a placeholder. So you could start with something, similar to when you're drawing a figure and you're using like cylinder shapes. You're using all these like, these kind of designs. This is a standard. These are standard measurements, standard appearance of the body, where there isn't much room for subjective perception. So you could look at things in that light, when you draw a certain nose or lips or whatever. From there, if you, let's say this is the way you draw lips, this could be your starting point. For instance, here, as you could see, it's a very light sketch of it. And then from there, you could play around and expand things, make things more narrow, and just, get the general idea of it. And as I mentioned, always, the most important thing is that you continue to draw, because in that, in your dedication of drawing daily, you have room to play around with all sorts of things. So one day you get bored of drawing the mouth the same way, you might be like, all right, what does it look like if I was to like maybe extend the mouth a little bit more? It's not as puckered. What if I do a line that's a little bit thinner for the upper lip or the bottom lip? And just play around with that. And a lot of it also has to do with its relation to other parts of the face. For instance, here, this kind of just demonstrates even how wide the mouth the mouth is in relation to the nostrils, you know, where that line is, for it to go a little bit too far to the corners, you know, in comparison to the nose. Yeah, a lot of that has to do with I guess this is where symmetry is really important. You know, you can't have a mouth that's a little bit angled. It can't be tilted in comparison to the nose, or it being more on the left or the right. You know, that I think starts to go into warped territory. It's not even a matter of like, oh, is the person appeal? It just looks like a broken drawing. Like things are just like barely hanging on in your drawing. And a lot of it has to do with consistency of lines. For instance, you know, if it swoops inwards and comes around into a little mountain here, it should do the same thing on the other side and match. You know, that's one of the reasons why it's important when you are drawing to draw that line down the middle. So that way you can compare and see, well, how does this half look like in comparison to the other half? And when it comes to the nostrils, let's say, when it comes to the eyes, when it comes to the mouth, it's all those things are very important. Aside from aesthetic, it's just being aware of detail, because sometimes people's intentions are to actually make things line up. You know, have the eyes be the same size, have the mouth be in the right position, but because they don't pay attention to these little details, you know, making sure that both halves are the same on both sides of the face, the drawing looks broken. And I see that happening very often, where you could obviously tell the person's intention was to make a very symmetrical looking face and to have you know, detail or whatnot, but they just didn't want to put in that time and really carefully compare and see. You know, things like, especially, I'm going to do a little demonstration here. And this is like a really, really big one that I see happening very often. So you got your head drawing here, and I'm going to draw another one right here. So as you can see, I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to draw a line from the points where the jaw is. So you could see these points right here where it starts to change its direction. Comes down, then it changes its direction to get to the chin. And then again, the same thing. In this perspective, in this straight on perspective, what a lot of people neglect is this right here, where the chin line, the jaw lines line up. They don't pay attention to it, and they'll draw something like this. Now I'm going to draw the straight line going across again. And as you could see over here, I'm kind of used to always making sure that's the case. So even when I'm giving a bad example, I'm still trying to do it. Yeah, as you could see here, that line is way off. It's not even a matter of like how low or high, it's the angle, that little angle that changes directions doesn't line up at all. And usually it's coupled with other things as well, like for instance the eye level, where they'll have the eye, one eye is here, the other one is a little bit lower. No, I'm really exaggerating here, but it's a really important thing to pay attention to. And we're going to draw this, and the nostril. The nostril is like angled. We're going to have the mouth. The mouth is a little bit tilted. So it just looks like a really warped drawing. It doesn't look right. So it's very important, you know, let's say you draw the eye really well, you put in the detail in the eye really well, you know, you take your time, you even draw the nose out really well, but simply because of this symmetry, because of these things, your drawing is going to look bad. It will look like a really well polished bad drawing, you know, and that's always a mark that somebody isn't really paying attention to something very important, or they're trying to cover up their mistakes. Like, rather than erasing it and being like, oh, I see it, it's kind of angled, you know, or it's a little tilted, let me try to fix that. They try to cover it up with a lot of detail. So not only is it important to get let's say the angle right, this is a 3/4 view, but you have to make sure that it's in the right position in relation to other parts of the face. And that's the importance of drawing these lines, drawing these guidelines, and studying the face by drawing from photos and references, and asking yourself these questions like, well, how far does the corners of the mouth go past like the nostril area, or where the eyes are? You know, just paying attention, drawing a line down from the corners of the eyes to where the corner of the mouth is, and seeing like, does it line up? You know, is it a straight line connecting the two? Here and here? You know, what about the nostril area? It's always good to pay attention to the distance between objects. So face features, for example, as well, you know, pay attention to it and measure it in the reference. When you're working from a photo, measure it in a reference and draw a line down from the corner of the eye down to where the nostril is on that reference, and see if they connect. You know, does the corner of the eye go even more inwards, or can you establish a straight line going down from the corner of the eye to the nostril? Pay attention to the relationship between the nostrils and the corners of the mouth. You know, how far away are they from each other? You know, all these little tools, observations, allow you to construct likeness. If you're working from reference, you know, you're able to get closer and closer in terms of likeness to the subject that you're drawing. It's a tool to make you understand these features and their relationships with each other as well. The tool is comparing the relationship between two objects, comparing the space between two objects. So yeah, there isn't a way to really shortcut that. You know, you just really have to draw a lot. You have to just draw faces often, and just pay attention to your own mistakes and notice them, and be like, okay, well, this is where things went south. Next time I draw a face, I'll pay attention to that. So I'm doing another quick sketch here, placeholder for me to, once I start really working on the details, I can shift things around, move them, adjust them. I think one of the biggest signs of somebody improving or somebody being good in drawing is how much variation their lines have. Are they able to do many different types of lines, like curves, and paying attention to the subtlety when it comes to them? That it really is an indication, and that doesn't mean they're very complex. There is a certain level of confidence in the most simple lines. If you look at old school cartoons, like I want to say for me personally, it was Looney Tunes, for example, right? Not a lot of detail there, but there is confidence in the simplicity of their lines. There's flow to them. There's this like natural kind of connection from one part of the line to the next. And that comes from, just drawing a lot and really paying attention to all these little details and trying to get them down. If you guys notice, I am layering on the shadows. This is why it's so helpful to draw lightly, as you can gradually work from one tone to the next until you reach the right tone, as opposed to right away going into like a really dark tone, hoping that you nail it immediately and then find out that it's a little too dark, or you haven't left enough space for other shades in between. It's a really good habit to teach yourself to draw lightly, to not press really hard on the pencil and the paper. This is going to be another example of a different type of lips. So I'm going to complete the shadow and talk about what you guys are seeing here. What makes this so different compared to the other ones that you've seen? Trying to narrow that gap there. Alright, so immediately starting off, this is something that I talked about last time when it comes to drawing teeth, right? And as you notice, I gave it a little bit more definition there, but the way that I divided it, I would say it is halved, but the way it is halved is drawing a line right down the middle of the teeth and then going from there, and that line down the middle matches with the indent of the upper lip, you know, where the mountains kind of form, right where that dip is. That's like the middle ground for pretty much both upper part and the bottom part of the lip, as well as the teeth as well. They get divided right down that middle. And if you don't create that divide for the teeth, it's going to look weird. You know, if you start the tooth like all the way, let's say on the other end, and it kind of curves in the center, right in the center, it's going to look weird. There's going to be something different. We all recognize that divide. When somebody smiles at us, we just subconsciously are able to recognize that as like the most common smile. But let's say somebody smiles and right in the middle, it's like one tooth. And then from that tooth, right in the middle, it spreads out. It would look weird. You know, I'm going to try to give you guys a better example of it, of what I'm talking about when it comes to teeth for it. So I'm going to draw this line down the middle. So imagine if there's a tooth right down the middle, and then from there, it's divided. I'm going to draw the nose here. That looks weird, right? There's something about that that looks unnerving. I'm going to show that divide in the lip area. And even that divide that I drew, the line down the middle, kind of favors it, but I'm going to remove it. So there is something weird about it. And that's a really important note when you are drawing teeth. It's a really sensitive area. And in some ways it could, signal some sort of like hostility, or I don't know. Not hostility, but like, it's hard for me to describe it, I guess. It's just not common, right? It's not a common thing that you would see where the tooth is right down. There's one tooth right in the middle that divides both rows. Yeah, it's just it just kind of looks strange. So it might not look terrible if you're like drawing intentionally somebody who has that, but if you're trying to draw the likeness of someone, for example, and you're looking at a photo or you're looking at a reference and you're drawing their face, something is off. You might want to check that. You might want to check how you're actually drawing the teeth and how you're dividing them. And if you haven't noticed it, just pay attention to everybody else. Like, everybody has that line that really lines up with everything else, lines up with the lip, the dip in the lip, it lines up with the nose as well. And that line right there is what also divides the teeth. So yeah, just a little side note there. For when it comes to drawing the mouth, when it comes to drawing teeth, something else to pay attention to. Just like, as I mentioned, paying attention to the corners of the eyes when you're drawing the eyes. How far away are they from the nostril? If you're measuring the distance between the corner of the eye and the nostril nose, and see how it is on both ends. It should be the same thing. It should be the same measurement. It shouldn't be that one side, the corner of the eye lines up with the nostril, while on the other side, the corner of the eye is like really far away, like the line is like here. If that line from the corner of the eye has a gap at the bottom where the nostril is, then your eye is off. You're not drawing something correctly. Both sides of the face, like dividing it down and having that line down the middle, both sides should be equal. They should mirror each other. They should have the same distances from other parts of the face as well, in order for things to look right. So yeah, just all these little things help you draw likeness, help you draw correctly what you're looking at in terms of a reference. And sometimes people just don't pay attention to that, and they draw everything else. They put in all the shadows and shading and all that stuff, but all these techniques, all the things that I mentioned, like the jawline, the symmetry between the objects, the face features, all that is kind of missing and isn't given much importance. Let me see here. Right, okay, so yeah, just to reiterate real quick again, very important, make sure that the jawline is symmetrical, like you see it here. Part where it curves inwards towards the chin, they should be on the same line. One shouldn't be higher than the other side. The corner, the dip in the lip should be centered where the nose is, with the nose. The divide between the teeth should be on that same line, that line that divides the lips. That's where the divide for the teeth should be as well. The distance between the corner of the eye and the nostril, pay attention to that as well. Make sure that it's the same on both sides of the face. All these things really will help you capture likeness of references, get a more accurate drawing, and get your proportions right, get your anatomy right, all those things. Can draw another example, different way of for the mouth and its expression. Sketching things out lightly. And this line right here is going to be very important, and I'll show you guys as I progress in this drawing why. Still keeping it pretty light, not pressing too hard. Just want to make sure that as I flesh out this in this drawing that I'm placing them in the right spot. All right, so why was that line really important? It made sure that the position of the lips are in the right spot. It kind of gave me a limitation to how far I could draw out the lips in order to make sure that it makes sense. And in this motion, you could see that they're drawn in a way where if the mouth was to close, they would actually touch. You know, the teeth would touch, the lips would touch as well. The general, I guess, physiology is correct. and also the tilt of the face, making sure that since it is angled in a way, that it makes sense throughout all the features of the face. It's keeping perspective in check. And very easily, you could just erase it. Now, the other great thing about this pencil is that it's specifically designed for, let's say if you're scanning, it doesn't show up. So after I ink this, let's say, right, or I pencil it even, let's say I use a darker pencil, I go over it, and then I scan this, it's not going to show up. And that really saves a lot of time of having to like erase and make sure that it's not around. Or even if you do, let's say you take a photo of this and you upload it to the computer, and then you start working on it in Photoshop or whatever else. It's very easy. You don't even have to erase it because you can create a new layer, and on top of that layer you could just ink it and then discard this bottom layer from it. So it's a win-win in any scenario. But giving yourself these guidelines helps to struggle with the perspective, with the physiology, all that stuff. You're just kind of avoiding that, whereas before, for example, what the alternative would be where I would start drawing it from its exterior lines, right, and then just continuing on from where I left off and just slowly drawing it out, and then realizing that I didn't get the angle right. So now I have to start shifting things to get the angle proper. Whether it's the teeth or whether it's the bottom lip, whether it's the bottom teeth and their angle, it should be a little bit more up or down or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot less of that sort of battle going on, because at the beginning you already drew that line to say, okay, this is the general direction of the mouth. Well, ladies and gents, this is going to be it for this week for figure drawing basics. But fret not, I will be back absolutely next week on Monday at same time and place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for more figure drawing basics. And next week I'm gonna have more special intros for you guys, so stay tuned. Make sure you stay up to date with what's going on. You guys can always follow social media platforms. I update Twitter as well, where I give you guys some sort of hint of what day the special intros are going to be on. And as always, if you guys enjoy this content, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. They both help the stream grow. You will get notification when I'm going live, and it will be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and I will be back for the project stream, where I'm going to continue working on my own work from imagination. So stick around.